Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. All right. Hey, listen, great to have you all here. Hope you're doing well. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Welcome to episode 1371. It is a conversation about leadership. We're wrapping up the month of leadership. So let me put a little mute on there, put that over here. Here we go. All right. Hey, good morning, Instagram. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you all here. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, VIP community. And it's funny, haven't had a Zoom bomber in a while. So I had posted this out on my Facebook page. If you'd like to join us in the VIP group, you could join us. The link is there. The link is to the VIP room is there. And somebody comes in and does what they do very well. And that's awesome. It's good to know there's still confused followers out there. So today the conversation is, what are the words at your core? What are the words at your core? Had an amazing, brilliant conversation last night with an amazing, powerful woman. And the conversation got down to understanding we have our mission statement, we have our vision statement. The question then becomes, what are the words that make up the framework? Listen carefully. What are the words that make up the framework of your leadership? I could probably ask your community today, are you a good leader? And they would say yes. The response would be overwhelmingly yes, you're a good leader. You understand how to serve people. You understand how to bring value to people. You understand what it takes to be aware, to be present, to be amazing. And then if I were to ask them, what is it that created that individual? Right? When I teach my mentees, the people that I mentor on a personal basis, when I ask them the question, when we do reviews of leadership training, of books, of conversations, of events, I ask people all the time and say, what do you think the state of the author was? Why do you think they chose that particular word? Not an and or a the. When they use adjectives, what is it behind them? What was the meaning and the philosophy behind them? What did their editor think? What time in history was this book written that word was used versus a variety of other words that were available? Does that make sense? So if I were to ask you today, what are the virtues of your leadership? What are the values of your leadership? Why is it that people can choose to use your leadership as a guide, as a path, as a road? Because you're really not leading anyone. You're giving them a path to walk on that most people are afraid to walk down somebody's path because the path is always unfinished. It doesn't go far enough. It doesn't go deep enough. It can't handle the traffic. Do you ever walk across the lawn and it's a little damp, and you walk across and it's a little slushy, or you walk across some snow and it's a little slushy, but by the time the fifth person walks across, it's a complete, absolute mess? That's the same thing that happens if your words at the core of your leadership values and mission statement and vision statement are not clear for you. You could say, I want to serve a lot of people. Great. Who are the people? Because there's a lot of people out there that don't want to be served. There's a lot of people out there that choose to do it on their own. They're looking for nuggets. They're going to dig up your road, right? When people say, man, dropping a lot of nuggets, it's a good thing you drop them. Yet what happens then is once they find out you're dropping nuggets, they got to realize that you have a gold mine someplace else, and they start digging around. What do we say when we want to investigate something? Go dig around, see what you find. Not see what's on the surface. Go dig around, see what you find. When you're stepping into a role of leadership, and you're going to find out, and you're going to step into the world of leading people, people are going to dig around. And they're not looking for all of the good that you've done. It's just by human nature. It's just who we are. If we have 60, 70,000 thoughts a day and 80% of those thoughts are repeats from yesterday, and science says, not me, I'm a farm boy from Ohio with a 0.9 grade point average. Science says 60 to 70% of those thoughts that are repeats from yesterday are not in our favor. So when you show up on a call like this, when you show up and you buy at Audible and you download an amazing leadership book that somebody said, this is tremendously valuable, and you download the book or you buy the book or you attend the course, you're going digging for your success, looking for ways to change the way you look at things, as Wayne Dyer said, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Every time you interact with somebody, you're looking for somebody to change your perspective, to give you a little different nudge, so you can advance your dreams. So now the question becomes this. Are you ready to have all that you want? That's usually what happens in the 40 years that I've been mentoring people, in the 40 years that I've been in personal development, and now the last 15 years in personal undevelopment, undoing the wiring that has put us where we are, undoing the programming that has caused us to act out the way we are, undoing the trauma that has taken place in our life through relationships, through being a child of an abusive parent, of being in a relationship that didn't really go that well. Undoing those traumas of the way that we continually hold our vibratory state so that we can step into our freedom. We have to undo some of these things. So I'll ask you, what are the things, what are the words, what's the vibratory state that makes up your core? Right? You see these, how many of you have seen these big, huge flags that fly? Car dealerships, banks. I mean, they're massive. They're 30, 40 feet across, 50, 60, 70 feet long. And they are just massive. And the flagpole is huge. Have you ever asked what's at the core of a flagpole? Usually flagpoles are hollow, right? When the cord that holds up the flag, if you've ever been near a flagpole, how many of you know it, the sound? You can hear that sound in your head of the cords that they use to pull the flag up with banging against it, with that shackle that's on there where they connect and disconnect the flags, where the shackles are banging up against that hollow pole. How many of you know that sound? So how is a hollow pole able to handle such a huge flag? It's because of what it's made of. You can buy flagpoles made out of different things. You can buy leadership made out of different things. We call these words, we call them integrity. We call them values. We call them commitments. We call them non-negotiables. How many times have your non-negotiables changed based upon the weather? It could be the weather outside, but the weather I'm talking about is whether or not somebody is going to like me. Over here, I'll do this, and over here, I'll do that. And when I go home, I'll operate a different way. And then when I go out with my buddies or my gal friends, I operate a different way. And then, so now the question becomes, what do I do? How do I make things differently? How do I ensure that I am ready to serve people at a different level? How do I make sure that I'm ready to find a way to be in absolute integrity? So that's what I mean by when you're
there without a gift, there. Hold on.
What are the words at your core? What are the words at your core? What are the words at your core that change the way you look at things? Does that make sense? What are the words at your core that change the way you look at things? So how do you operate? How do you operate at a value-added service that doesn't take away from your energy? How do you operate in such a way that you decide that you're going to be a leader that becomes unaffected? When will you decide that the words that you use, the conversation that you use, the value that you use to lead people, to talk to people, is who you are all the time? The reason that maybe, possibly, there's a chance that you're a little aggravated, agitated, you're a little exhausted, you're a little wound up, you're a little unwound, is because you keep having to change who you are for situations. How many of you know somebody who they operate at different frequencies and different vibrations whenever they decide they're going to change the way they look at things? They're going to show up in a particular area, and there's somebody different each and every time. They may fit in, they may be perfect for that situation. Can you imagine if every time a guest came to your house, imagine if every time somebody liked a post on your social media, you had to change your background. You had to change your about section. You had to upgrade the links in your bio. How many of you would be absolutely exhausted? You'd say, this isn't worth it. Does that make sense? This isn't worth it. So now you find a way that you say, hey, listen, here's what I want. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's who I am. The challenge with finding the words that live at your core, finding and using and understanding the philosophy of the vibratory state of the words that make up your core, the more words you have, the more vibrations there are. There's something that you center at. There's something that you vibrate at that's different than everything else. There's something when you find your center, I call it your secret sauce. When you find your secret sauce, when you find that part of you, that place in you, that part of you that's non-negotiable, that can't be nudged, that can't be pushed, it operates at such a high frequency. It operates at such a level of giving and receiving. See, that's the thing, is most people's core value words they seem to not allow you to receive. So what's a universal word that allows you to go both ways? If you say, what are some words people use when they tell me about their core? They say, I'm confident. Well, can you receive confidence? Usually not, if you're wanting to be confident. Follow me on this. This may seem a little odd, but again, you're listening to a farm boy from Ohio. This conversation powered by hibiscus lemonade ketones, if you want to upgrade your brain. So here's the question. Can confidence be received? Isn't confidence usually one directional? I'm looking for bi-directional words that allow it to go out and come back and continue to expand. Yes, you can receive confidence. Now the question is are you a learner? Are your words willing to teach others? Are you a teacher? Can you be taught? You know how hard it is for some people to stand in front of a room and be taught by the audience that's simply saying nothing? This is what happened. So I was taught by the father of public speaking, Bill Gove. Some of you probably have never heard of him because you're not entering into the professional world of public speaking. When you enter into the professional world of public speaking, meaning you get paid to speak, not a commission check, you get paid to speak. That's why there's a good bunch of people who can speak well in public. They're not public speakers. Big difference, huge difference. So when you speak from an audience, can you allow the audience who's quietly sitting there teach you? Can you feel their energy? Can you receive back all of the questions and the comments? Are you listening, or have you not practiced enough? See, most people practice so they can win. I practice so I can't fail. See, winning then is only you winning. And people see you sometimes when you get off stage from your events and people come up to you and they say, oh my God, that was so amazing. I could never do that. You think you won. You just lost significantly. If people say to you, I could never do what you do, then how are you doing? How are you doing on building this duplication model that everybody talks about? You just fed your ego. So then you have to ask yourself, if people say they could never do what you do, they could never do it that way, you're confusing leadership with being unmatchable. You're confusing leadership with being significant. Ouch. See, when you're so good at being good, people want to be more, they want to have more good in their life. When you are so amazingly filled with love, people want more love in their life. And the way they wind up finding more love is we all need to give space to all of these things. Could you imagine your closet? Think of your closet right now. Unless you are military based, you don't have an inch between each hanger so that everything can hang organized and then nothing is getting wrinkled. Usually stuff is stuck in there. How many of you have to push over the clothes so you can get the hanger in? How many of you can barely pull a shirt like this off of the hanger because it's just compressed? You follow me? How many of you have such ideas and conversations about leadership that it's absolutely crushed in there, that there's no space for a new idea? There's no space for your love to breathe, your joy to breathe, your confidence to breathe. There's no place for when somebody wants to give back to you. Everybody that's in your audience wants to give back to you. Sometimes there's hearts that show up on Instagram. That's people giving back. That's people saying, I really like that. And when they like that, they show it. They publicly speak with the heart. See, the challenge is that you're asking people to publicly speak when they give you an accolade. When you want to engage with them and you say, drop an L in the chat if you love life, and people start dropping L's, that's publicly speaking. They're being put on a center stage and people are going to read it. And then all of a sudden, if one does it, somebody else might do it. Oh, but I don't want to be first. Can your leadership give the first person the courage to stand up and say, I will be first? Let me ask you this. Drop an F in the chat if you're the first one that's going to break the money challenge in your family's history. Drop the F in the chat if you were the first to go to university. Drop an F in the chat if you were the first to make a difference in your family, that your mom and dad wanted you to have more, but they look sideways at you because you're doing something they never had any clue on, and they want to protect you. So if all of these firsts, and now you stand up in front of a group of people and you're going to lead people who have never done this before, don't lie to them and tell them it's easy. Don't lie to them and say, if I could do it, you could do it. No, you're the first one that has ever done it in your history, in your lineage. Don't lie to them and say, we could do this together. You're barely making it on your own. So what should I say, Sean? Say, I'm going on a journey. I'm the first in my family to walk this path. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be kooky. But here's the reason why I know I can continue to walk my path, is because I have mentors who will teach me how to do things I didn't know I could do. And when I learn that, I'll share it with you. So are you willing and ready to go on what Joseph Campbell calls the hero's journey? And the hero's journey that you're about to venture out on is to go from the ordinary to the extraordinary. And then there's about 13 paths, 13 steps, 13 things that you're going to have to walk through, doors you're going to have to open that will allow you to come back with the elixir. Too many people go down to the boat dock never get on the boat, and they come back with the ticket that says, I bought a ticket to the boat. Then what the hell are you doing here? Why didn't you get on the boat? Well, no, that would make me leave my family. But you should get a ticket to the boat. You should go get on the boat. And everybody's telling you the should values. They're shooting all over you with their leadership. Because it's cool to have the picture of me standing next to the boat. Oh, did you go on the trip? No. I just got a great picture of me staring off into the sunset saying, my vision is clear. Of what? Of how to stand on the dock? Some of you are following people who have never left shore. It's okay. And you wonder why you're stuck digging ditches, metaphorically speaking. Why your center isn't I'm reading it, but don't spit out my coffee. Why your center isn't operating at its highest performance. Why you know there's a calling inside of you that still has this identity that you know is your significance. And yet significance has always caused you pain. Certainty has always caused you pain. Let me let you in on a little secret. Come a little closer. If you're going to step out into the future, if you're going to step out into the future of happiness, of joy, of creativity, it's going to be something different than your predictable future, as Joe Dispenza would say. The reason most people find it hard to meditate, to get centered, to find their core is because their flagpole doesn't even have a flag on it. You haven't planted your flag yet. You've planted flags. Let me be very clear. You have planted flags and say, this is what I'm going to do. But you planted it about a half inch into the soil, leaning up against a tree. And the first time wind came, your flag blew over and you said, well, guess I got to go find a new flag. No, you don't have to go find a new flag. You just got to plant your flag deeper. You got to find out what's at the core. You got to have a flagpole, the thing that holds up your vision, that holds up your story, that holds up your strength. And this is what I teach in the 12-week mastermind. You can go right now. You can go right now and take the first week, no fee. Go into the link in the bio on Instagram. And for those of you on YouTube, go to my Instagram page, Sean G. Murphy Now. Click on the link in the bio. And the first one is to take a test drive of the 12-week program. And you want to see how clear your core is. See if you make it through the first 3 days. See if you can answer the question in 60 seconds. You can start to formulate a response to the first question. The first question of an 84-day program with videos and trainings and workbook. The first day. See if you can answer the question. You want to know why your business struggles a little bit? Because you might not be. It's possible. What I've experienced from the hundreds of people that have gone to the first day is they don't make it to the day. They don't make it to day 2 of a 12-week mastermind. Why would I give you such a powerful question? Because your life deserves the extraordinary, not the ordinary. And I will take you on a journey. And you will kick and scream and you will holler at me. And this is the free week. This is the first week of the program. I dare you to go answer day 1. I support you. Ask me questions. You have access to me to ask me questions when you're inside that community. Ask questions. Most people find it really challenging on day 2. God forbid they make it to day 3. They now have 81 more days of really getting to your extraordinary life. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What are the words at your core? What makes up the pole, the center, the meaning of who you are? What is the intention? What are the virtues? What are the values behind what you stand for? Where did you get them? Are they yours or were they given to you? Were they programmed into you from childhood, from relationships, how you will or will not do something for somebody? I will. What are your non-negotiables? See, it all really, really, really boils down to one of 2 things. I can take any of the words that you're about to use, any of the descriptions you're about to give me, that if we were to have a one-on-one conversation, and I can put them in one of 2 columns, period. That's it. That's all that's necessary. One of 2 columns, love or lack of. That's it. Those are the only 2 places they can go. You're either looking for love or you're finding a way to not have love, period. period. Put me to the test. Decide you want to have a one-on-one, mind-opening, mind-bending conversation. I do very little talking because you know the answers. You know at your core, you know in your philosophy, you know in who you are and what you believe at your center. Now go describe the words of that center vibration. What is that vibratory state, and how much are you an outcast? Drop an O if you'd feel you'd be an outcast in your current circle of friends. They wouldn't really cast you out and burn you at the stake, but they would find you. They would say, what's wrong with you? Have you lost your mind? And they would start to call you things like selfish. They would start to call you things like myopic. They would start to call you things like you're crazy. You're stupid. That's not who we are. What gives you the right? They'll say things like that to you. My goal is to allow you to stand in complete and absolute love when they threaten you like that, when they threaten your identity of who you really are. Because most times when those happens, we go, you know what, you're right. At a subconscious level, you know what, you're right. So how do you change this? What are some things you do? You start writing down 500 things you love about you. Start with 10. Start with 10 things you love about you. Start with, then add 10 more things of what you love about you. And you want to change the chemical factory inside your head. All of this is happening in your brain. All of this is happening in your brain. And when your brain sends out that new information, that new desire, that new want, that new thing, tell me if this has ever happened to you. All of a sudden you send out that dream and you start to get sweat. You start to get nervous. Things in your body start to change. That's called neuroencoding. See, you're only working on the script. When you say the script of I am this, I want this, I am worthy of this, I believe in me. When you start to say your I am statements and you start to feel nervousness and sweat and you want to throw up, that's called neuroencoding. The challenge that you're having with reaching your next level is not in your dreams. It's in your execution of controlling your body, called neuroencoding, that most people that you're about to be mentored by have no idea of neuroencoding, have very little idea of self-talk and what it can do and how it can literally wreck your body if you're not taught how to do it properly. So then what happens is that if I go to do something and I know it's going to be painful, I will avoid it. People avoid self-talk like the plague. People avoid understanding neuroencoding and having that conversation because they realize it's not their thoughts, it's not their desire that sucks, it's their plan that sucks. And they can't execute on the dream because they've not learned how to rewire their body. Go to the link in the bio, get signed up for the first week, and see if it doesn't challenge you. See if you don't feel that vibratory state in your body. Because if you do, then we need to work together. We have to work together, because otherwise you're going to go off and you're going to do things that allow your body not to be challenged, not to allow your neuroencoding to be challenged. And we'll be here a year from now and you'll have incremental growth and you'll be frustrated, aggravated, agitated because you're not able to keep the promises you said you would keep last year. We can change that. We can change all that. We can build you better. Go to the link in the bio. Take the first week. I double dog dare you. Take the first week. See if it doesn't rock your world. And if it does, then probably need to go along with the next 11 weeks, shouldn't you? To have more of what you want, less of what you don't. So there you go. I love you tons. Instagram, I appreciate you. Have an amazing day. Thanks for showing up today. It is, what is today? It's Taco Tuesday. Go have a great taco. Enjoy yourself. I'm your head brain training, neuroencoding, body rewiring misfit. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. This conversation powered by Ketones. Love you tons. Bye for now. And there we go. And YouTube, I appreciate you. And kind of fun to see this the Zoom bomber, whatever that was. I'll have to go. I don't even know if I'll go back and look at what that was, but I appreciate you. I love you tons. YouTube, thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the watching. Thank you for all the hours you guys are putting in, checking out the videos. I appreciate y'all. I love you tons. I am your head brain training, Zoom bombing, crashing misfit. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Till then.